there's I won't mention the person's name, but a Protestant reached out to me that's recently become Catholic here in Ireland, and she said to me, why wasn't I told about the Eucharist? Why don't Catholics tell Protestants about the presence of our Lord, body, blood, soul, and divinity in the Mass, which is the re-representation of the one sacrifice of Calvary. We're not crucifying Christ again. And so it's amazing to see so many Protestants, there's a few of them that are becoming Catholic, but are digging into the faith, loving the faith, want to know more about the faith. And I just think a lot of these converts are putting us Catholics to shame. And maybe our Lord is using this as a message to us. Do we really love our Lord? Do we go to him with the love that to allow him to transform our lives? And I would ask Catholics to know our Lord in the Eucharist, to love our Lord in the Eucharist. And today is Jim Brown's funeral, and that was one thing he used to emphasize in his chapel: reverence during Holy Mass, silence, communion, kneeling on the tongue, which is the norm in our church. Any priest, any laity out there saying, oh no, communion in the hand is the norm. No, it isn't. I got a cardinal to check this for me. Communion on the tongue is the norm of the Roman Rite. And why is that? Because it's not any old food that we're taking. It's the body, blood, soul, and divinity, beating heart of our Lord Jesus Christ. The same Lord that we hear in the gospel is the same Lord that we receive sacramentally in the Eucharist. And so, we should tell the world about this. Tell the world that our Lord is real. He's alive. And let your lives be transformed by our Lord. He's a great encounter. Great encounter. And I just thought I'd relate that story because I do think it's all part of a message that our Lord is sending, that he would pour out his heart onto this soul that has come to the faith. And yet many of us in the Catholic Church, baptized Catholics, are indifferent to his presence. We don't love him. We're all wondering, does God exist? But we don't actually get down on our knees to ask, Lord, love me, and to allow him to love us. We don't acknowledge him there. And that's the sad reality of why our Lord has pulled back. When you don't want to have an encounter with me. You don't want to be here with me. You prefer all these other idols that you've built up, your phones and your Sunday shopping and your second hotel vacation and your second cars and your holiday homes and your Netflix and your this and your that, and you have very little time for me. And then when something goes wrong in our life, then we turn to God as like the last chance. Well, look, nothing's happening here. Maybe if you exist, can you help me? Why not know God today? Why not take the adventure of knowing God today? There's so many conversions happening in Ireland. It is truly incredible to witness across the island. So there must be something happening. It's not like somebody went out and called at their door and sold it to them. This is our Lord working, and he's speaking to humble souls that you wouldn't expect. So anyway, I just thought our Lord is present, body, blood, soul, and divinity in the holy sacrifice of the Mass, the re-representation of the sacrifice of Calvary. And if you're a Protestant and you want to meet the God that you read in scriptures, you will meet the same God in the Holy Mass as well, in that piece of bread, and which is fully scriptural. It's the word that becomes flesh. The word that the priest speaks becomes flesh of our Lord. Think about it. Do this in memory of me. Why? God didn't leave a piece of bread. He left us his body. Body, blood, soul, and divinity of our Lord Jesus Christ. This is why you have so many Eucharistic miracles where the bread actually changes into the body of our Lord. Physically, you can see it. Just think about it. I'm doing the Camino de Santiago, and on the Camino, there's a stop, Ofcebrero, as you enter Galicia. There was a Eucharistic miracle up there. You know, a priest was saying mass, and he was hoping that nobody would come. So, but then this poor old man came up in a storm and said, "Oh, I have to do mass now. There's one man here for mass." And so he starts saying mass, and he was doubting, is our Lord present? And the host, the piece of bread during the consecration, manifestly changed into the body of our Lord. So it's happened during history. It's these times when our Lord says, "I'm really here." You know, it's the same Lord that's crucified behind me. He's really here. God bless you. Take care. Bye-bye.